Hi there, and welcome to Arts Focus. Arts Focus is a monthly 30-minute program that is produced by the Office of Cultural Affairs in the City of Columbia, and also CAT TV. And we try to focus on local arts and culture organizations within our community and have representatives from those organizations come and tell us about what they do and how you can get involved in their groups. My name is J.J. Musgrove. I'm the director of the Office of Cultural Affairs. And with me and starting out this program is Steve Winters, who is with the Mid-Missouri Woodcarvers. Steve, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Steve, Mid-Missouri Woodcarvers, and we've got some wonderful things here. We have some things down here that we're also going to show people here. Tell us a little bit about how this wonderful organization got started and what's going on with it right now.
Yeah, most of the guys in the club don't really remember when it started, but it really kind of started with a few guys a long time ago that wanted to get basically away and kind of visit each other, tell some stories, do a little bit of wood carving on the side. I think that may have been an excuse to actually get out of the home at the time. But we still gather. We gather twice a week, and we still tell stories. We bring our tools, we bring our projects. We meet for a couple hours. We do a little bit of carving. Sometimes a little more stories than carving, sometimes more carving. But it's a group that's probably been together over 20 or 25 years in this town.
How wonderful.
Many of the original carvers have passed or moved on, and new generation of carvers is with us.
Well, that's fantastic. How large is your group right now?
Active carvers, probably on the order of 25 active carvers in Columbia. We meet twice a week. Some of us meet on Tuesday nights from 6 to 8. Others meet on Thursday afternoons from 1 to 3, and some meet both times.
Okay. Is it primarily a local club, a local chapter? Do you interact with anybody around the state or in the region or anything like that?
It's a local club. It's not really a chapter of anything.
Right.
We do have some folks that'll come in from the lake area, and come up and carve with us. A couple come in from Jeff City occasionally and carve, but pretty much it's Columbia, Boonville, occasionally somebody from Moberly or that far out will come in and carve with us.
Where are you located at right now as far as where do people get together? Where's your gathering place?
Our gathering place is the Columbia Area Senior Activity Center, 1121 Business Loop, and we meet in the cafeteria, again, Tuesday nights and Thursday afternoons.
Well, how wonderful. Well, now we've got some things here, so show us, what do you have? What's all around us?
Back here we got a piece. It's a ram that was done in class with Debbie Edwards. She does wildlife and wood.
All right.
And that was finished a couple weeks after class got out. That started as a large block of wood that was roughly in the shape of the ram and the ram's horns. We had to find the horns and everything else. And the instructors come in and work with us, help us place the eyes, and tell us how to find the pieces.
That's wonderful. What's right here?
This back here is a piece of, it's high relief foliage. It's in the style of Grinling Gibbons. That's a piece that I worked on with Mark Adams School of Woodworking a couple years ago with a internationally renowned artist that came in to teach Grinling Gibbons style wood carving. That's 2 pieces of wood, and it's a layered foliage carving.
Well, that's just beautiful. That's great.
Thank you.
And then we've got some things down here at our feet.
At our feet over here, we've got some chip carving. We brought Wayne Barton, who's an internationally known chip carver, in, and he taught us for a weekend on how to do geometric patterns, how to build the patterns, and then how to carve them. So that's just a couple examples. It's just sort of like the gals used to do their needlepoint. We put a couple projects on a board, and they kind of do the same type thing.
Oh, okay. So you're just kind of experimenting with patterns and how that works there.
Yeah,
Then we've got another one down here. Imaginatively, I think of coasters and different things like that, but just wonderful patterns here. It's great. And then over to your right there, what do you have?
We've got a couple cottonwood bark whimsical houses. This is not actually wood, but it's actually...
Pull one up for us here. Oh, yeah.
It's actually the bark off the cottonwood tree. It's a different kind of a fiber. Every piece of bark is different. Every house is whatever you can find in the piece of bark, and use as much of the natural bark as you can. And it's 2 rules to that. There's no straight lines allowed, and if you break something, change it.
How wonderful. I think that's absolutely great, like a Keebler Elf's house in a way. That's wonderful. So great. And then did you have another one down there?
Yeah, this is...
It's another house?
Yeah, that's another one that was kind of 2 big chunks of bark that we turn it into a double roof house.
Oh, that's great.
So it's all it's whatever comes off the tree, and you just kind of use your imagination.
Oh, that's really neat. Well, that's just beautiful. What programs do you have right now? I know that so you have a group of individuals that get together that are obviously skilled at wood carving, and they enjoy spending time with each other and having a great time. What we've talked a little bit about, I think before in the past, about people that you've brought in, young people, to kind of teach them and mentor a little bit about carving and things like that.
Yeah, we've got 5 youth right now. They're all girls from age 10 to 27.
Okay.
We've got a 10, a 13, a 14, a 21, and a 27-year-old. My daughter's a 10-year-old. She's been carving with us for 5 years. The 14-year-old's been with us for 5 years. She came with a 4-H project. And we've got another 10-year-old girl that's come with her mother from the Arts District a few times. And we will take them through initially a soap carving on the first night. We start with the safety discussion on tools, and we put safety gloves and thumb guards on the kids. So we talk about safety. We'll do a one-night thing on soap carving, and then we take them into 2 projects, a flat goose and a 3-dimensional goose with knives, and they learn how to work with the grain, not against the grain.
Yeah.
And once they're done with that, they can kind of sit with various carvers. People are doing birds, people are doing bark houses, relief carvings, animals, caricatures, whatever. And they kind of decide what direction they want to go. And they'll sit with them for a few nights and maybe start another project that's fairly simple. Downtown Optimists have bought us a number of sets of gouges so that we can take the kids into an introduction and maybe an intermediate course in relief carving.
Oh, wonderful.
And we're going to start that up with our current kids late January.
Oh, great.
And it'll last probably 4 or 5 weeks on the introduction, and then if they're interested, we'll do an intermediate, and it'll last another 5 or 6 weeks.
Well, that's wonderful. It's great to be, training the next generation of people that would be interested in doing this too.
Yeah.
We want to get involved in your organization. How would somebody find out a little bit more about that?
Easiest way, go to www.midmocarvers.com. There's a link to my email on there. Anybody's welcome to just show up at the Senior Center on Tuesday nights or Thursday afternoons. If they want to do some carving, it'd help if they let us know they're going to show up ahead of time. We'll have a project, try to have a project waiting for them.
That's great.
Even if they just show up, they can sit with some folks, walk around, see what we're doing. There's always 12 or 15 people in there carving, and a myriad of different type projects being worked on.
Great. Well, Steve, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thanks,
and really thank you for bringing out all the good stuff here so that we could really see the good work that your group is doing, and let's get some more people involved in it. I think It's just absolutely wonderful. So we'll be right back with our next representative here pretty soon.
Hi, welcome back to Arts Focus. I'm Sarah Dresser with the Office of Cultural Affairs. Our next guest is Diana Moxon from the Columbia Art League. Welcome to Arts Focus.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah. So for those who might not be familiar with the long history of the Columbia Art League, could you give us maybe a brief summary of the history and also kind of some of your current programs you're known for?
Well, we've been around since 1959. So a really long time in the community, and we've always been the voice of the artistic community in Columbia. So you don't have to be a professional artist or a long-time painter to be a member of the Art League. We represent high school students and professors of art, beginners and people who've been painting for years and years, professionals and amateurs. So it's really a little bit of everybody that shows their work at the Columbia Art League. So as well as the ongoing program of exhibitions, we also have a lot of classes that people can take at the Art League for adults and for kids. So we're there at various classes through the year. Some of them are evening classes, some are weekend workshops or Saturday workshops. And then for kids, we do a Saturday morning art adventure. We do full day art days when school's out, on the Creative Fun days, on the CPS days off. There's lots of ways of getting involved. And then of course our big event every year is Art in the Park, which so many people know. And I think one of the things that often gets lost in translation is that Art in the Park, this big community festival, is actually organized by the little tiny Columbia Art League. I think when people come to the festival, I think a lot of people think it's just kind of a City of Columbia event. It feels like that. It's very big. It's in a public park. And that's an endless effort that we try to overcome, or an issue we try to overcome, is letting people know that this is organized by the Columbia Art League, and that organization is in the community year round, and you can get involved year round. Exactly. So we've really been around for a long, long time.
Yeah, and growing up in Columbia, I remember participating in art camps during the summer, and now as an adult, I've gotten the opportunity to participate in some of your art shows, and I get to enjoy a lot of your exhibit and buy art, and just definitely love to, it's multi-generational for people who grew up.
That is a nice thing. I think we're really on the third generation of people now that are involved with the Art League from the early 60s.
Great. Well, you talked a little bit about some of your classes and ongoing programs. You also do exhibits throughout the year. Can you kind of talk about how you go about planning those, and maybe kind of end with your upcoming exhibit that's happening this month?
Well, we have 6 exhibits through the year in the Columbia Art League Gallery, and 4 of them are juried, and 2 of them are not juried. So the juried shows mean we bring someone in from outside the community, and they physically look through the artworks that are submitted that are on a theme that we set. So I'll set the theme, artists will respond to that theme, we'll bring a juror in, and they will choose which works either are strongest or either thematically or strongest artistically to go in the show. So not everybody gets into the juried shows, but they are open to Art League members and non-members. If you're a non-member, you just pay a higher jury fee. And then 2 shows a year, one in the summer and one over the holiday season, are only open to members, and they're not juried, and there's no theme, so people can submit whatever they want. So it's a little bit of a variation through the year. One of the big shows we do in the fall every year is called Interpretations, and this will be our 4th year for that. And that's a show where we have writers and artists working together to interpret each other's work. And in that show, both the written works and the artworks are juried, so we have a double jury process going on. Makes it a bit more complicated. But for the juried shows, the first 3 shows of the year are juried, so they're open to everybody. You don't have to be an Art League member to join, and you certainly don't have to be an Art League member to come into the gallery and see the works. It doesn't cost anything to come into the gallery. I think that's another sometimes thing that people think that you have to pay to come in, but it's really, you just open the doors and you come in. You don't have to buy anything. You're very welcome to buy something, but you don't have to buy anything. You can just come in and look around. Yeah. So the first show of the year, and submissions for that are due this weekend, is called Inside Voices. And so my inspiration for that was the Pixar movie last year called Inside Out, where you have the animated film with the little girl. She's got all the voices in her head, joy and happiness and disgust and sorrow. And I thought it's really a great idea for a show, because we all have inside voices that, dictate what we do and give us advice, or good and bad advice. And I thought that would be a fun show to look at emotions and what makes us happy, what makes us sad, what disgusts us, all those kind of things that go on inside our head. So that's the first show of the year. Submissions are this weekend, and then the opening reception is on Saturday the 16th from 6 till 8 p.m. And again, it doesn't cost anything, everyone's welcome. Lots of the artists are there, so it's a great chance to meet the artists in the community and ask them about their work and their influences. Great. So it's kind of a fun evening. Yeah. And there's music and food and wine. And
it sounds like a great theme to start off the year, kind of especially introspective and winter time. So it'll be interesting. I
like to start in the year with a good meaty show.
Yeah,
something with substance.
A lot of substance. So I'm really interested. It's like you said, quite a variety, because you have all different artists from kind of different, not all painters, but a lot of 3-dimensional works and fiber pieces. So there's kind of everyone is represented at. And
I never know until the work comes in. I never know how many are going to come in, who's going to submit, and so that's always the worry is that what if nobody likes the idea, what if nobody submits work, but somehow it always comes together.
Always works. And do you ever have a cap of like having to cut people off because you don't have any more room to display it, or have you run into that problem?
In the member shows, we cap it at 120, and I've never actually got there. I've got to like 110, 112. But with the juried shows, I just say to the juror, I'm looking for 90 works. And so if I have 150, the juror has to take out 60. If I have 120, the juror takes out 30. So the juror is my kind of capacity.
Yeah. You can always put that responsibility on them. So people come to you, you're like, it wasn't my choice, it was the juror's choice.
And sometimes it's difficult to live with, because sometimes the pieces that I like don't get juried in.
Yeah, but looking forward to, and any kind of snapshot that we can have for the kind of exhibits to come after this January show.
Sure, after Inside Voices, we have one called Pathways and Passages, and that's a little bit based on the true-false theme this year of Off the Trail. So the idea of treasures and trails and journeys. So that's Pathways and Passages, the second show of the year. And the third show of the year is called Chromophobia, which is a fear of color, which is a real thing.
Oh, okay,
and so, a chromophobic might have a fear of red or yellow, might have bad associations association. So in chromophobia, artists have the choice of really diving deep into the color palette and freaking a chromophobic out, or playing it very neutral and going with like beiges and neutral tones. So those are the first 3 shows. And then we have the members summer open, then we have Interpretations 4, and then the Give a Gift of Art show at the end of the year. So those are the big ones this year.
Well, looks like a very great season of art coming up. And I know everyone's probably looking forward to summertime and the warm temperatures and Art in the Park, which is always the first week of June.
First weekend of June,
Okay,
so it's the 4th and 5th of June.
How can people find out more about exhibits and programs and all the information?
They can go to our website, which is columbiaartleague.org, and Art in the Park has its own website too, and that's artintheparkcolumbia.org, but they're both linked to each other. We have Facebook pages for both Art in the Park Columbia, and also just Art League, so people can go to the Facebook page and we kind of keep that updated with things that are going on, or they can just come into the gallery.
Yeah, well, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us here today and telling us about all of your programs and what you do. We'll be right back with our last guest.
Well, welcome back to Arts Focus. I'm JJ Musgrove, still, again, and joining me today for our last guest is Tootie Burns, who is a representative from the North Village Arts District.
Yes.
Tootie, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate you being here. Let's talk about what is the North Village Arts District. We talk about a lot about the North Village, but fill us in as far as what it is, where it's at, and how did it come to be a little bit.
Geographically, JJ, pretty much from the east it goes from College Avenue to the west, 10th Street, then from the north, Rogers, and then this is my favorite part, to the south, the alley behind Walnut. So, what
it's extremely definitive. Yes, the Walnut Alley.
There's a line down the alley. There isn't, and what it's made up of is businesses, both some arts related, other businesses, probably about 100 businesses within the geographic area. But the North Village Arts District that we focus on is galleries, shops, and again, some non-traditional art businesses that support the area and recognize that it's kind of a destination for people to come down to, whether they're going to eat at Blue Restaurant or whether they're coming down to Cafe Berlin to get something to eat and then wandering up to Orr Street Studios, or having their jewelry fixed by Kenny Green at Monarch Jewelry, taking a yoga class. There's just a variety of different things in the North Village Arts District.
So this was an intentional concept and an attempt to really create what we talk about in economic, as far as economic drivers with arts, is an arts clustering type of effect.
I think that's what I don't know if anybody ever knew it would grow to what it's become now. I think that was the hope. About 10 years ago, Mark Timberlake developed Orr Street Studios, and he took a laundry company that was M1 Manufacturing and created artist studio space because he learned that there was a need for that. John Ott has also developed a variety of buildings down there, and so when they developed these areas and people saw how cool and urban the area was, artists came down, signed leases on spaces. Other businesses followed, galleries, restaurants, shops, again, art and non-art related. And so we all support each other, whether you're coming down to Orr Street and taking a look at the art that's down there, and then we say, well, go down to Range Free, the restaurant that's just to the next door, or go check out the Missouri Contemporary Ballet. Their practice space is next door too. There's a real relationship among the businesses to support each other.
Oh, that's wonderful. And this is what we hope happens when there is an attempt, whether it be intentional or not, where we create this type of cluster, the cluster effect that happens, create a community that comes out of that particular hotspot, so to speak, is that then you see other businesses like restaurants, you see sound studios, you see all of these other types of industries that pop up to support what else is going on. There's distillery, which is perfect for arts and artists.
Well, yes, it's a nice addition.
Oh, we'd love that right there. Now, a lot of people don't know that the North Village Arts District is actually a thing. They know it's a destination, but they're not quite. They didn't know that it's an organization, a 501c3. Tell us why that came about a little bit, and as far as what is its mission, what does it hope to do as an organization?
We obtained our 501c3 status about 15 months ago, and we were thrilled to obtain that because that opened up new doors for us. We have a volunteer board that works very hard, meets monthly, planning new activities. You know, our main goal is to allow the community to interact with arts and artists and to support each other in our endeavors in doing that. So that means Sager Broadus Gallery has an opening. We're going to promote that down at Orr Street Studios. Artlandish Gallery has something going on, or a special event, or the Root Cellar has something. We're going to send people up there and we're going to talk about it among the different businesses in the area.
Okay.
What the board does is gets that message out. We have social media, we have a marketing director, we have, you know, just all of us as kind of ambassadors for the North Village Arts District, talking about what's going on down there and how people can come and participate. One of the main things is the First Friday event that we created, and we've just had our 1-year anniversary of that, and that's been a super successful event that we host.
Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that.
Thank you.
First Fridays have been very popular in many cities around the country.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about it for those that maybe not have heard of it before.
Well, First Friday, it's a monthly event, and we wanted something that would occur on a regular basis. The next one will be, I think it's February 4th, but it's the first Friday of every month. It is a gallery crawl. There are probably 16 to 18 businesses open from 6 to 9 on the first Friday night. It's a walking thing. It's family friendly. There are openings for art shows. There are live demonstrations. There's music. There are refreshments. It's just an opportunity for people to walk around, check out what's going on in the North Village Arts District, and interact with artists who are down there, and also businesses that are open that want people to come in.
What I've seen also is that you do have restaurants that are in conjunction with it as well that may have a special appetizer or signature drink or something of that nature.
Right.
The other thing too is, although you know we're specifically on North Village right here, is that the community as a whole, being a vibrant arts community, has embraced First Fridays as well, and people can, you know, they may start their evening at that North Village area, but you see them spilling around all over downtown, all around our different arts communities that are all around.
And
there,
I agree,
so.
and I think even you know, somebody might go for an early dinner or to have a drink somewhere downtown or visit another institution and then wander up to us. Maybe they don't spend the full 3 hours, but yes, then head down to Rose Music Hall or the Blue Note or, you know, any other place that they'd like to end their evening. So it gives the community a nice place to come for a period of time, but again, it allows them to be downtown and enjoy all the other activities downtown.
Well, we've reached January, and we're in 2016, which I cannot believe we're in 2016 in many ways. New initiatives, new things that are going to be happening with North Village this particular year.
I think, again, growing First Fridays,
Okay.
and really making that the destination for Columbia on the first Friday of the month, and attracting new businesses to the North Village Arts District. We'd love for it to continue to grow as it has, and just attracting people that have never been down there. Every week I hear somebody says, "Oh, I've never been down to Orr Street Studios," or "I've never been down to Artlandish," and we're like, "Come, there's nothing stopping you. Come on down." And if it's not on a first Friday, come down during the week because we're there too.
Great. That's wonderful. Okay, so how do we find out more about First Fridays, North Village? Tell us
We
about
have
that.
Facebook pages for both First Fridays and North Village Arts District, and that's probably the best way because those are updated on a very regular basis. You can also go, if you know a particular venue, like Sager Broadus or the Distillery, Dogmaster. They're all business members. They're promoting it on their Facebook pages and their social media, so checking those out and finding out what their special activity. Talking Horse at Hanson's, very active in the First Friday scene, and so they usually have something very interesting going on.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And thank you for watching Arts Focus for January. And we'll be back in February with 3 more guests to let us know about their organizations and how you can get involved in the arts and culture scene in Columbia.